If you're here because you're curious about Nearpod or you're ready to level up your teaching game by knowing the ins and outs of Nearpod, you're in the right place. This incredible teaching tool is a game changer when it comes to student engagement and lesson planning. There is something for everyone here, so we're going to hop right in. Everything is time-stamped below, so if you're looking for something in particular, head down there. Let's go. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is head to nearpod.com. Go ahead and head there, create your free account or log in with your school or district account. Once you're there, you'll see that I have my dashboard set up like this. I've got folders where I organize all of my lessons. I would suggest you do the same. Start out with those good habits. So go ahead and click plus folder, add folder, and name it for one of your classes. Work smarter, not harder, friends. Go ahead and plan alongside me as we go through this. You can pause as you need to, but there's no need to waste time. Let's plan while we learn. We'll get to the student login near the end. I know that's a big question that people have, but we need a lesson to invite them to first. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Hang tight. Today we're going to plan 2 lessons together. The first we're going to do from scratch, and the second we're going to snag from the Nearpod Lesson Library. There is so much good stuff in there, and I want you to see it. To start with our from scratch lesson, we're going to go ahead and click create. We're going to click lesson and go ahead and name it. Now pretty soon I'm going to be teaching a group class on fables. So I'm going to choose that as my lesson title. You can click up there and add your name. You can also edit it later. Maybe I want to say this is my Tuesday class, something like that. Now, once we have this, we're going to start adding content and activities. One of the first things I like to add to almost all of my lessons is a Collab Board. So I'm going to come over here and choose Collaborate Board. There it is. Now, as you can see, I am on a premium account, so I have different options like grid and columns. I'll show you how to use those in a second, but you may not have that if you're on the free version. It's okay. What I like to do is add a question or something that just gets kids thinking about the topic at hand. You can write that question or topic up here as a bell ringer, something that gets kids thinking as they're joining the class. Let's go ahead and add in a topic here. Do you know any fables? Once I've got my question in here, I can also add a picture. So I might go ahead and add in tortoise and hare. There it goes. It's already there. I can choose that one. And maybe I'll put that picture up there just to jog their memory. Then students can come down here where it says share your thoughts. They can type. So I might write Aesop. Or I can respond with an image, a video, a voice recording, or a GIF. This is fantastic for hitting all the areas of needs that our learners might have. If you've got a classroom that has learners with different difficulties or different challenges, this is something that you can absolutely make use of. So I might go in here and do Emperor's New Clothes. Choose this. Let's see. How about this one? Kind of funny. And send that out. As you can see, there are places to put hearts so learners can interact with each other. If we want, we can come up here to student options. Students can see names. I have that turned off, so that will show up as different stars, little asterisks where their name is. Students can edit responses. I really like having that on. Sometimes kids spell things wrong and they want to go back and edit, all for editing. Approve student posts. I have that off just because my class tends to put up appropriate things, but if you're worried about inappropriate things coming up, you can turn that on and then you will have to approve each student post. They can also comment on other people's posts. This is great for fomenting discussion and approving student comments. I also have that turned off, but you can turn that on if you want to screen things. We can also have different media types allowed. If I don't want images allowed, just words, I could change that. In terms of columns, something that I have loved is actually doing this in a story class, in a writing class where we were talking about science fiction. I created the columns, somebody wanted, but then so. And as we went through this, they were able to add their answers and then create a story based on that. And the responses were pretty funny. I actually left a picture up here where I have the hare and the tortoise. I changed it to this picture. And they had to then write about it. And it was very cool to see what they come up with. So you can use this in a lot of different ways, but we'll go ahead and leave it as is for now. So I'll click save. After our Collaborate board, I'm going to go ahead and start getting them focused on the fable that we're going to look at today. So the next thing I'm going to do is put in VR. I want to add in a virtual reality field trip. So I'm going to click that, click add, and then I can search. And our fable that we're going to look at is the Lion and the Mouse. So I'm going to choose jungle, and the setting is a jungle. That's why I'm choosing jungle. So let's see if we can find a good jungle in here. Ooh, this looks good inside of Banyan. Very cool, Vanuatu. All right, so we've got this field trip. Now, come take a look at this. This is just amazing. So when we look at this, we can just get a little bit of a sneak peek. This is what students will see. They don't need VR glasses or anything, but they can look down. I always like to have them look at their toes. I like to have them look at the sky. Wow, amazing, that's beautiful. So, very cool. Then we click escape and we are set. That's already saved in there. So we've got our Collaborate board, we've got our field trip just to set the scene, and then we're gonna start getting into the meat of our lesson. I'm gonna do this by piquing their interest with video. So let's go to content and put in video. There we go. Add. And then I'm going to type in fable once we get there. Now, the library is full of things like this. So the one that I'm going to choose is this one. This is a fantastic one. Look right here. We've got an explanation of what fables are. Some of my favorite videos are the just a minute videos. They're literally just a minute. But this one is fantastic too, so I can just check it out, make sure it's what I want.
Ever heard the story about the tortoise?
All right, so we're going to get an introduction to fables. And Nearpod has a fantastic little magical feature that is called interactive video. As you can see, these blue dots down here are fixed at fixed points within the video. When we begin our video in the presentation during class, it will give me the option to share my screen, play it from my computer, and I just share that on Zoom or wherever I'm teaching, or I can have it play on students' computers. They'll watch the video and they'll answer the questions on their own terms. But here are the questions that we're going to work on. So as you can see right here at 30 seconds, we've got an open-ended question. These could be open-ended or multiple choice. Have you ever heard of fables before? Now, this is a question that Nearpod came up with. So I'm actually going to delete this one, and I'm going to put my own question here. Maybe we'll get right here. I'm going to go add an activity at 30 seconds right there. Very good. And I'm actually going to make it multiple choice. Let's see. Have you heard of fables before? Maybe I'm working with a younger group and they're not as quick at typing and I want to keep our lesson moving. So we can say yes or no. There is really no correct answer, so I'm going to choose both of these as an option. Great. So we've got our first question there, another one here. As I mentioned, we can go ahead and change those, edit them. We can move them, delete them, totally fine. We can also
is a short
video if we need to, if we want it to cut down right after a certain point. You can totally do that by just grabbing the handles at the end. Another option that I love is looking at the speed. Depending on your class, you may want to slow down or speed up the playback speed, which is just right here and will be available to you when you play the video. All right, we're going to save that and we are set. Now, that is just something that my students know when I say, hey, we're going to watch a video. They kind of sit up. Normally, we might check out when a video is playing in class, but not in my class, friends. Nearpod makes it so that they are paying attention and they are sitting up ready to answer when those questions pop up. Once we've watched the video, they are ready to get into the story that we're going to read today, the fable. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in as a PDF. And here it is. PDF viewer, each student will be able to click on this file. It'll open up on their computer and they can read at their own pace. Something else we can add in is our own slides. So we can actually add in our own slide. Perhaps I want to give them instructions on how to open up this PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and change the layout. I just want kind of one big title. Click the story to read together. Okay, I can change the sizing, change the font, and I love putting some background color in there. All right, we're set. We can, oh, I loved it. Let's see, lion, or let's see if we can put in a fun GIF. Maybe we'll do this one. All right, just a fun little touch. There we go. So now we are set. We click save, and see how that has gone behind the PDF viewer? I actually want it to go in front. So very easy drag and drop to change the order. All right, up next is arguably the most valuable resource in Nearpod Landia, friends. This is Time to Climb. Let's go ahead and come over here. Time to Climb. This is a gamified quiz, basically. So for Time to Climb, we can go ahead and search the activities over here if we need. We can type in fables. Sometimes there is something, sometimes they're not. In this case, we don't have one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in some questions that I've come up with. Fables often have blank as the main characters. For answer choices, I can choose text, type them in, kids, teachers, humans, animals. Obviously animals is the right answer, so I'll click that. I can also drag to reorder, which is kind of nice. I can also have images as answers. This is kind of nice for our younger learners and also for things with maps or different reference items. I can also add a reference image over here on the right side that can help jog learners' memories. And I can duplicate a question or trash it. I can also leave a time limit here. I usually leave it at 30 seconds, but you can shorten it if you'd like. I've got my second question, and I might add a few more, but that's the gist. Then I'm going to save and come back to our lesson. The idea behind Time to Climb is that it's a great assessment tool. Students are going to be racing up a mountain to answer questions quickly, and if they're able to get to the top, they're going to show up at the top of the podium at the end of the class. This can lead to some students feeling salty, so I like to have them all shake hands virtually or in person and then move on quickly. The next thing that might be helpful is to add a matching activity. I'm going to come up here for matching pairs. I can check the library, but I'm pretty sure there's not one on Fables, so I'm going to go ahead and come and leave some instructions and add a pair. Match the word to its definition. And then I'm going to add a pair. And I can add images or I can add text. So fable is a story that teaches a lesson, often using animals. Okay, add another pair. Moral would be a lesson learned in a fable. So we can preview these. There we go. That's what it's going to look like for our students. And this is just a great way to go back and reteach something if they were a little bit rusty during Time to Climb. Finally, I think I will wrap up by doing an activity with Draw It. Students love getting creative here. So we'll add this in and I'll ask them in these instructions, add that in, and then there we go. They've got their scene. I can add a background if I want to. Perhaps I've got a forest scene or something like that, but I often leave it blank just so that they're able to add in their own creative ideas. They can type, they can add images, and there's all the basic tools down here. Click Save. As they are working through the presentation, we as teachers are able to see what they're working on. So here's a quick look at what this looked like the last time I taught this lesson. As you can see, each student had their own thing, and then I'm able to share each drawing if I want with the rest of the class. All right, and that's it. So I'm going to click Save and Exit. That's all she wrote for our From Scratch lesson. We'll leave that there. Now, I want to add in one other lesson, but instead of going to Create, I'm actually going to come over here to the Nearpod library. I have all these lessons at my fingertips. I love all the integrations that Nearpod has. As you can see, there is a lot. For K-12, it's amazing. So go ahead and check those out when you're ready. But for me, I'm gonna go ahead and search for a topic that I am also teaching on soon, linking words. So I'm going to look and find a lesson. Oh, amazing. So I can see that there are already linking word lessons created, and mine has this EL companion option. That is English learners. Now I'm going to choose that one because it just gives a little bit of extra support, including Google Translate. If students have a question, they can do that quickly and easily on their own, and it gives what I need. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my lessons. Come back over here. I can preview it if I want to, but I think I'm set. So I'm going to go back to my lessons. There it is. And I always edit. Now, here's the idea. I'm going to duplicate the lesson just so I've got a copy if I needed to go back, if I messed something up that I did not want to do. And I'm just going to go through and take out some of the things that I know I don't need. So you can right-click on any slide and then click delete, or you can just click the delete button. Now, I don't want those instruction slides to show up, so I've taken those out. Linking words and writing, essential question. I don't really want students to see the flow of today's lesson, so I'm going to take that out. And then we're going to go through, yes, so we've got some vocabulary that we're going to preview in this Collaborate board. Check it out. We talk about this metacognition piece, which I love. What are some things that you do to help you learn and remember new words and what they mean? I think that's great. I love hearing students' ideas and sharing mine, for example, when I was learning a new language. Then we've got a slideshow. This is great for navigation with kids. We're able to then show them different words. Perhaps this is the vocabulary section. So these will come up as numbers, and we can have students toggle through them and work through them together. We've got another matching lesson. There we go. These are all the pairs that they've put together that are just going through the vocabulary they already learned. Love how aligned this is. Now we're going to explore. We talk about a poll. Again, metacognition, thinking, oh, I know all this. This is also a formative assessment for you to then say, all right, my students already know a lot. We're going to move through this quickly, or they don't know much, or they know a little. We can use that as some information for informing our own instruction. Then we get down here, they're going to have another Collaborate board. They're looking at a writing sample, which is great, just nice and clean. And I can annotate on this if I need to during class to say, hey, what is this? The Grand Canyon. Oh yeah, we can pull up a quick picture of that too if we need to, just to give some context. But that's a great way to get kids focused on the text at hand. We're gonna look at this Collaborate board. What could we add to that writing sample? We've got a video, again, another interactive video where there are questions. Lots of great examples in here. All of this is looking good. Love these, especially with grammar that can feel kind of boring. Finding these linking words, circle the linking word in each sentence. This is going to show up, and students are going to need to circle the linking word in each sentence. So that is going to be great. We can see that privately as a teacher. There's a toggle button where we can go ahead and look and see what that looks like and how they're each doing. And then we come down to the end. Great. I don't think I need this extension piece. And the PDF viewer has some objectives in it. We've got the credits and a thank you slide. Cool. So I think we're okay. We're set there. So I'm going to click Save and Exit. Now we've got our 2 lessons. We are set. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this to my Tuesday class. And to delete this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and delete here. But it's important to note, we can duplicate this lesson or share with other teachers if we want to add it to different folders. So it's kind of a nice way to organize all your lessons. We've got our lessons, but we need to invite our students. Here's what I do in order to invite my students. I come up here, and I always keep the Nearpod student link in my bookmark bar, nearpod.com/student. I will copy this, and I will then copy the lesson code. So here's my lesson, and I'm going to choose live participation. As you'll see, there is a student paste option. We'll get to that in just a second. Choose live participation if that's what you're working with. You've got students joining in class with you. And we've got this code. We copy it. And when I send that to my students, they will then put it in this space, click join, and it should take them straight to the lesson where they'll log in. There we go. Yes, that's me. And I'm now in the lesson.
Pretty cool, pretty easy.
This video would be an hour long if I included all the awesome features that Nearpod has to offer. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that my science and math teachers will love the PHET Simulators.
These are so fun. Where students are then going to click around, they can change the mass, the friction. Perhaps we want a bar graph over here, and then we're going to go ahead and change what this looks like. We'll drop our person in and see how she goes. Nice. All right, so these are just kind of the fun things that you can play around with.
There are also fill-in-the-blank activities, so if you're working with certain vocabulary or grammar tools, those may come in handy as well.
We can paste the text here. There we go. On this slide, I'm going to go ahead and choose take out mouse, disturb the lion, decides to let her go free, nibbles through the rope, returning the favor. There we go. So I'm going to click done, and then my students will drag and drop those in.
There are so many templates already ready to go. These could be maps or Venn diagrams, different graphic organizers.
If I choose the draw it feature, I might choose Venn diagram over here, snag this template, and then my students I can add in my own instructions, and my students can put in their own work here on the Venn diagram. I should mention the student paste lesson idea. With this student paste, we can go ahead and click that. And this code is good for 30 days. So recently, I've been adding some more of those interactive games and activities into my lessons. My students have said, hey, can we keep playing this after class? And I say, sure. I send them that student link and the code, and they've got 30 days to hang out and play with these lessons. We always love that extended exposure to our content.
They upload current events lessons weekly, and they're super good about keeping holidays and global topics at the forefront. If you're a Nearpod fan, I would love to hear what you love about it in the comments below. So leave me a note down there letting me know what you like and how you use it. And if this video was helpful for you, it would be super helpful for me if you would go ahead and hit like and be sure you're subscribed to this channel. It's free and it helps me out a lot. If no one's told you yet today, thank you for showing up and doing what you do. It's really important. Happy teaching. Everything is timestamped below, so if you're looking